Life is a story, a flowing narrative that unfolds moment by moment, shaped by the thoughts we think, the choices we make, and the perspectives we hold. Yet, within the vastness of this ongoing tale, there exist pivotal moments, big stories that change the course of everything. These are the stories that challenge our assumptions, reshape our understanding, and awaken us to truths we didn't know we were seeking. Transformative moments are the turning points in life that redefine who we are and how we see the world. These moments are rarely planned and often arrive when we least expect them, interrupting the flow of our routine existence and demanding our full attention. They have a way of shaking us awake, pulling us out of the comfortable patterns we've built for ourselves and thrusting us into new realms of possibility. While they can sometimes feel like a disruption or even a crisis, they ultimately serve as the catalysts for our growth and evolution. The transformative power of these moments lies in their ability to shift our perspective. They strip away the illusions we cling to, the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, what we want, and how the world should work. In doing so, they expose a deeper truth, one that often reveals the limits of our previous understanding. These moments challenge us to see life not as a linear progression, but as a dynamic, ever-changing flow. They remind us that growth is not a straightforward path, but a series of awakenings. Often, transformative moments arise from contrast. They can emerge from the collision of what we expect and what actually happens. When life unfolds in a way we didn't plan, we are forced to confront the gap between our desires and reality. This confrontation can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it is in this discomfort that transformation begins. We are pushed to expand our perspective, to question our assumptions, and to reevaluate what truly matters. One of the profound truths about transformative moments is that they often come disguised as challenges. A loss, a failure, or a period of uncertainty can feel like an ending, but in time it may reveal itself to be a beginning. These experiences have a way of breaking down the walls we've built around ourselves, walls that may have been keeping us from the deeper truths of who we are. The pain of these moments is not a punishment, but a process of breaking through to something greater. Transformation also occurs when we encounter something or someone that awakens us to a new way of being. It could be a conversation that changes the way we think, a book that shifts our perspective, or an experience that opens our hearts. These moments serve as mirrors, reflecting back to us parts of ourselves that we may have forgotten or ignored. They invite us to step into a more authentic version of who we are, free from the constraints of fear, doubt, or societal expectation. What makes transformative moments so impactful is that they are not just about external change, they are about internal awakening. The external event, a career change, a relationship shift, or a significant loss, is merely the trigger. The real transformation happens within, as we adapt, grow, and evolve in response to the experience. It is in the way we interpret these moments, the meaning we assign to them, that they gain their life-changing power. These moments also remind us of the impermanence of life. They teach us that nothing is static and that change is not something to fear, but to embrace. When we resist change, we create suffering. But when we lean into it, we open ourselves to the richness of life's unfolding. Transformative moments teach us to trust the process, to understand that even in the chaos, there is a hidden order guiding us toward greater wholeness. There is an important element of surrender in transformation. We often think we must control the process, steering it toward a desired outcome. But true transformation happens when we let go of the need to control and allow life to take its course. This doesn't mean passivity, it means meeting each moment with openness and curiosity, trusting that even the most difficult experiences have something to teach us. In the wake of a transformative moment, we often find ourselves in a new place, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. We may carry a greater sense of clarity, a deeper understanding of ourselves, or a renewed connection to our purpose. These moments are the markers of our journey, the points in our story where everything shifts. They remind us that we are not static beings, but dynamic, ever-evolving expressions of life itself. Ultimately, transformative moments are gifts, even when they come wrapped in challenge or uncertainty. They push us to grow in ways we might not have chosen on our own. They show us that life is not something to be controlled, but something to be experienced fully. They remind us that within the discomfort of change lies the possibility of renewal. and that the most profound growth often comes from the most unexpected places. To embrace transformative moments is to embrace life in its fullness. It is to welcome the unknown, to trust in the process of becoming, and to recognize that every experience, no matter how difficult or unexpected, has the potential to shape us into the person we are meant to be. The power of paradox lies in its ability to reveal truths that conventional thinking often misses. At first glance, a paradox seems contradictory or illogical, a puzzle that doesn't quite fit within the boundaries of what we expect. Yet it is within these contradictions that life's deepest insights often reside. Paradox forces us to confront the limitations of binary thinking, urging us to move beyond either-or frameworks and into the expansive realm of both-and. In doing so, it opens doors to understanding the complexities of existence in a way that is both profound and transformative. Life itself is a living paradox. Consider how joy and sorrow often coexist, how endings are inherently beginnings, and how strength is born through vulnerability. These seeming contradictions are not mistakes or anomalies, they are essential to the human experience. It is through the interplay of opposites that life achieves its depth and meaning. Without darkness, we wouldn't recognize light. Without struggle, we wouldn't appreciate peace. Paradox doesn't negate, it balances, creating a wholeness that transcends any single perspective. One of the most striking paradoxes of life is how growth often emerges from discomfort. Pain, failure, and loss are experiences we instinctively try to avoid, yet they are also the experiences that shape us most profoundly. It is through adversity that we discover resilience, through failure that we learn innovation, and through heartbreak that we open ourselves to love more deeply. Paradoxically, the very things we fear often carry the seeds of our greatest transformation. This is not to glorify suffering, but to recognize its potential as a catalyst for growth. Another powerful paradox is the tension between control and surrender. Society often teaches us that success comes from exerting control, from planning meticulously and bending circumstances to our will. Yet some of life's most profound moments occur when we let go, when we release the need to control and trust the flow of events. Surrender is not the same as giving up. It is an act of profound trust, an acknowledgement that some things are beyond our control. In surrendering, we often find a freedom and clarity that control could never provide. Paradox also invites us to question the nature of identity. We often think of ourselves as fixed beings, separate from the world around us. Yet we are both individuals and part of a larger whole. We are unique, yet deeply interconnected. This paradox of self challenges the illusion of separateness and encourages us to see ourselves as threads in the vast tapestry of existence. It is not an either-or proposition, but a both. In reality, we are simultaneously distinct and unified. The power of paradox becomes even more evident in relationships. Love, for instance, is full of contradictions. To love deeply is to risk vulnerability, to open our hearts is to accept the possibility of pain. Yet it is precisely this vulnerability that makes love so powerful. The act of giving love is paradoxically one of the most fulfilling ways to receive it. In relationships, we learn that closeness requires space, that holding on too tightly can push someone away, and that letting go can draw them nearer. These lessons are not logical in the traditional sense, but they reveal truths that logic alone cannot grasp. Paradox also shapes the way we approach life's biggest questions. The search for meaning, for example, is inherently paradoxical. On one hand, we long for answers, for certainty and clarity. On the other hand, life's greatest mysteries resist definitive answers. The more we search for meaning, the more we realize it cannot be pinned down. It is not a fixed destination, but a journey. In accepting this paradox, we find that meaning is not something we uncover, but something we create moment by moment. The beauty of paradox is that it challenges us to expand our thinking. It shows us that two seemingly opposite truths can coexist, and in doing so, it teaches us to embrace complexity rather than oversimplify. Paradox asks us to hold opposing ideas in our minds without forcing them into resolution. This openness is not a weakness, but a strength. It allows us to approach life with curiosity, humility, and wonder. Ultimately, the power of paradox lies in its ability to connect us to the fullness of life. It reminds us that life is not a series of problems to be solved, but a dynamic interplay of opposites to be experienced. It encourages us to let go of rigid expectations and to embrace the contradictions that make us human. In doing so, it helps us see that the beauty of life is not in its neatness, but in its messiness, not in its certainty, but in its mystery. By accepting paradox, we free ourselves from the need to have all the answers and open ourselves to the infinite possibilities of existence. We learn to live in the tension of opposites, to find peace in uncertainty, and to discover that within every contradiction lies a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered. Paradox is not a problem to be solved, but a doorway to understanding, and through that doorway lies a world richer, fuller, and more profoundly alive than we ever imagined. Unexpected awakenings are moments of profound realization that catch us off guard, shifting our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. They are the unplanned, unsought experiences that disrupt our routine existence, forcing us to pause and see life from a new perspective. These awakenings can come in the form of a sudden insight, an unforeseen event, or a quiet moment of clarity that arises when we least expect it. They remind us that life often operates beyond our control, delivering its most transformative lessons not when we seek them, but when we are simply present enough to receive them. One of the most striking aspects of unexpected awakenings is their spontaneity. They arise not from deliberate effort or meticulous planning, but from the flow of life itself. They are the moments when we stumble into truth without even realizing we were looking for it. This spontaneity is what makes them so powerful. They bypass our defenses, our preconceived notions, and our tightly held beliefs, opening us to a deeper awareness. It's as though life, in its wisdom, knows exactly when and how to nudge us toward growth. These awakenings often occur in the midst of everyday life, in situations that seem mundane or insignificant at first glance. A conversation with a stranger, a quiet walk in nature, or even a moment of stillness during a chaotic day can spark a shift in perception. In these moments, something within us clicks, and we see what we couldn't see before. The world hasn't changed, but our understanding of it has expanded. It is in these subtle, unassuming moments that profound transformation takes root. Sometimes unexpected awakenings are triggered by challenges or disruptions. A loss, a failure, or an unforeseen obstacle can jolt us out of our comfort zones, forcing us to confront truths we've been avoiding. While these moments may initially feel like setbacks, they often pave the way for deeper growth and self-discovery. The discomfort they bring is not a punishment, but a catalyst, breaking through the walls of complacency and inviting us to explore the uncharted territory of our inner selves. Paradoxically, unexpected awakenings often occur when we stop striving for them. In a world that emphasizes constant effort and achievement, we are taught to pursue enlightenment or self-improvement as though they are goals to be reached. But true awakenings cannot be forced. They come when we let go of the need to control and simply allow life to unfold. It is in the act of surrender, of being fully present and open, that we create the space for these moments to arise. What makes these awakenings so transformative is their ability to dissolve the illusion of separateness. In an instant, we may feel a profound connection to something greater than ourselves, a sense of unity with the people around us, with nature, or with the flow of existence itself. This feeling of interconnectedness is not intellectual, it is deeply experiential, a knowing that transcends words. It reminds us that we are not isolated beings navigating a chaotic universe, but integral parts of a larger whole. Unexpected awakenings also teach us the importance of perspective. They reveal that the way we see the world is not fixed, but fluid, shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. A sudden realization can shift our perspective entirely, allowing us to see possibilities where we once saw limitations. This shift in perspective doesn't just change how we view the world, it changes how we engage with it. We become more present, more compassionate, and more attuned to the richness of life's unfolding. These moments of awakening often leave a lasting impact, but their true value lies in how we integrate them into our lives. An awakening is not an endpoint, it is an invitation to live more fully, to embody the insights we've gained in our everyday actions. It calls us to move forward with greater awareness, carrying the lessons of the moment into the choices we make and the relationships we nurture. Perhaps the most beautiful thing about unexpected awakenings is their universality. They are not reserved for the few, or the fortunate. They are available to all of us, regardless of where we are in life. Life is always offering these moments of clarity, but it is up to us to recognize them. By cultivating openness and presence, we can become more attuned to the subtle ways life speaks to us, guiding us toward growth and understanding. Unexpected awakenings remind us of the mystery and wonder inherent in existence. They show us that even in the midst of routine or struggle, there is always the potential for transformation. They encourage us to embrace the unknown, to trust in the wisdom of life, and to remain open to the surprises it has in store. These awakenings are not just moments of insight, they are doorways to a deeper way of being, one that is rooted in awareness, connection, and the ever-present possibility of renewal. Perspective shapes meaning, acting as the lens through which we interpret the events, experiences, and relationships that make up our lives. It is not the events themselves that determine their impact, but how we perceive and interpret them. The same circumstance can evoke entirely different responses depending on the perspective we bring to it. This realization is both empowering and transformative, as it shifts the locus of control from external circumstances to the inner workings of our minds and hearts. In understanding this, we gain the ability to reframe our experiences, redefine our stories, and create meaning that serves growth and fulfillment. Life is inherently neutral. Events unfold without inherent labels of good or bad, success or failure. These judgments are products of our interpretation, filtered through our beliefs, emotions, and expectations. For instance, a loss might initially appear devastating, but over time it could reveal itself as a turning point that leads to new opportunities. Similarly, what seems like a failure in the moment might later be understood as a necessary step toward eventual success. The meaning of any experience is not fixed but fluid, changing as our perspective evolves. This concept highlights the importance of self-awareness. To understand how perspective shapes meaning, we must first recognize the narratives we carry. These narratives are often influenced by past experiences, cultural conditioning, and societal expectations. They act as filters, coloring how we perceive the world. By examining these narratives, we can identify the assumptions and biases that shape our perspective. This process of introspection allows us to challenge limiting beliefs and adopt perspectives that empower rather than constrain us. One of the most profound ways perspective shapes meaning is through the reframing of challenges. Adversity is an unavoidable part of life, but how we respond to it determines its impact. A setback can be seen as a defeat, or it can be reframed as a lesson. Pain can be perceived as punishment, or it can be understood as an invitation to grow. When we choose to see challenges as opportunities for learning and resilience, we shift from a victim mindset to one of empowerment. This shift doesn't diminish the difficulty of the experience, but transforms how we engage with it, allowing us to extract meaning and purpose even from hardship. Perspective also influences how we relate to others. Our interactions are shaped not just by what people say or do, but by how we interpret their words and actions. By cultivating empathy and curiosity, we can adopt perspectives that foster connection rather than division. For example, instead of assuming someone's behavior is intentionally hurtful, we might consider the possibility that it stems from their own pain or struggles. This shift in perspective can transform conflict into understanding, deepening our relationships and enriching our sense of connection. The fluid nature of perspective also reminds us of the impermanence of emotions and judgments. What feels overwhelming today may feel insignificant tomorrow. This impermanence invites us to approach life with a sense of openness and curiosity rather than rigid certainty. When we recognize that our current perspective is just one of many possible viewpoints, we become more adaptable, more willing to explore alternative interpretations, and less attached to fixed conclusions. This flexibility is a key ingredient in resilience, allowing us to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. Perspective is not only individual but collective. Cultural narratives and societal values shape the way entire communities interpret their experiences. By becoming aware of these broader influences, we can question whether they align with our own values and truths. This awareness empowers us to create meaning that feels authentic and aligned with our personal journey, rather than simply adopting perspectives imposed by external forces. At its core, the idea that perspective shapes meaning is a reminder of our creative power. We are not passive recipients of life's events, but active participants in the process of meaning-making. This creative power extends beyond the interpretation of past events to the way we envision the future. By choosing perspectives rooted in possibility and hope, we can shape a future that reflects our deepest aspirations. The act of shaping meaning through perspective is not about denying reality or avoiding difficult truths. It is about embracing the complexity of life and recognizing that we have a choice in how we engage with it. This choice is an act of empowerment, a way of reclaiming agency in a world that often feels uncertain. It invites us to become authors of our own stories, crafting narratives that honor both the challenges and the beauty of our journey. In the end, perspective is not just a tool for interpreting life, it is a way of living. It encourages us to approach each moment with intentionality, to find meaning even in the mundane, and to view life as a dynamic interplay of experiences that continually shape and refine who we are. When we embrace the power of perspective, we unlock the ability to transform not just our understanding of the world, but our experience of it, creating a life rich with meaning, purpose, and connection. Interconnection and participation lie at the heart of our existence, revealing the profound truth that we are not isolated individuals navigating a detached world, but active participants in a vast, interconnected web of life. This realization carries transformative implications for how we understand ourselves, our relationships, and the larger flow of existence. It invites us to step beyond the illusion of separateness and embrace the dynamic interplay between our individual lives and the greater whole, recognizing that everything we do is inextricably linked to everything else. To see the world through the lens of interconnection is to understand that nothing exists in isolation. Every action, thought, and intention we hold ripples outward, affecting not only our immediate surroundings, but also the larger systems of which we are a part. Just as a drop of water merges into a river and becomes inseparable from its flow, so too are we woven into the fabric of life. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the ideas we exchange, all are products of countless interdependencies that stretch across time and space. This interconnectedness is not merely a poetic concept, but a fundamental reality that underpins existence. Understanding interconnection shifts how we see ourselves in relation to the world. Often we operate under the illusion of separateness, viewing ourselves as distinct entities with clear boundaries between self and other. Yet when we examine life closely, we see that this distinction is fluid and permeable. Our bodies, for example, are ecosystems of countless microorganisms working in harmony to sustain life. Our thoughts and beliefs are shaped by interactions with others, by cultural influences, and by shared human experiences. Even our sense of identity is, in many ways, a reflection of the relationships we hold. Recognizing this truth softens the boundaries between I and we, fostering a sense of unity and belonging. Participation is the active expression of this interconnection. To participate in life is to acknowledge our role within this intricate web and to engage with it intentionally. Participation is not a passive observation, but a conscious act of co-creation. It is the understanding that we are not merely spectators of the world, but contributors to its unfolding. Every choice we make, no matter how small, shapes the collective reality we inhabit. Whether through our relationships, our work, or our care for the environment, our actions carry meaning and impact far beyond what we can see. Participation also invites us to embrace responsibility, not in the sense of burden or obligation, but as an acknowledgement of our power to influence the world. This responsibility arises naturally when we recognize that our lives are interconnected with others. It becomes clear that our well-being is tied to the well-being of the whole. When we act with compassion, kindness, and mindfulness, we contribute to a ripple effect that uplifts and nourishes the interconnected web of life. Conversely, when we act out of fear, greed, or indifference, we contribute to the fractures and imbalances within that web. This awareness calls us to live with greater intentionality, understanding that our participation matters. Interconnection and participation also reshape how we view challenges and conflicts. In a world defined by interdependence, adversarial thinking, the US versus the mindset, becomes less relevant. Challenges are no longer isolated issues to be conquered, but shared experiences that require collective effort and cooperation. Whether addressing global crises such as climate change or personal struggles within relationships, the recognition of interconnection encourages collaboration and empathy. It reminds us that solutions are not found in division, but in coming together, honoring the diverse perspectives and contributions of all participants. This understanding also deepens our appreciation for the richness of life. Interconnection reveals the beauty of the relationships that sustain us, from the unseen forces of nature to the human connections that bring meaning to our days. Participation, in turn, invites us to engage fully with life's offerings, to contribute our unique gifts and talents to the world, and to embrace the joy of being part of something greater than ourselves. It reminds us that every moment is an opportunity to connect, to give, and to receive. Ultimately, interconnection and participation teach us that life is not a solitary journey, but a shared experience. They remind us that our individual paths are intertwined with the paths of others, and with the unfolding story of the universe itself. This awareness calls us to live with humility, gratitude, and purpose, recognizing that we are both beneficiaries and contributors to the intricate dance of existence. To live with an understanding of interconnection and participation is to step into a more expansive way of being. It is to see beyond the narrow confines of self-interest and to embrace the truth that we are all threads in a larger tapestry. This perspective not only enriches our own lives, but also inspires us to contribute to the well-being of the whole, knowing that in doing so, we are nurturing the very essence of what it means to be alive. The present moment holds infinite potential, yet it is often overlooked in favor of dwelling on the past or anticipating the future. This tendency to live outside the present robs us of the richness and possibilities that exist right here, right now. The present moment is not merely a fleeting point in time, it is the canvas upon which life unfolds. Every action, thought, and decision originates here, and by grounding ourselves in the now, we unlock the transformative power to shape our lives with intention, awareness, and authenticity. At its core, the present moment is all that truly exists. The past is a collection of memories, shaped and reshaped by our perceptions, and the future is a realm of infinite possibilities that has yet to materialize. While both past and future have value, they provide context and direction, they can also become traps. Dwelling excessively on the past can lead to regret, nostalgia, or a fixation on what might have been. Similarly, projecting too much into the future often creates anxiety, worry, or an endless cycle of planning and striving. Both perspectives pull us away from the only space where life can actually be experienced, the present. One of the greatest gifts of the present moment is its neutrality. Unlike the past, which can feel weighted by mistakes or triumphs, or the future, which can seem overwhelming with uncertainty, the present simply is. It offers a clean slate, free from the baggage of what came before and the speculation of what lies ahead. In this space of neutrality, we have the power to choose how we respond to life's unfolding. This ability to choose to act rather than react is the essence of empowerment. The present moment also carries the potential for transformation because it is the birthplace of awareness. When we are fully present, we see things as they are, not as we wish they were or fear they might be. This clarity allows us to engage with life more authentically. We notice details we might otherwise miss: the warmth of sunlight on our skin, the subtle tone in a loved one's voice, or the rhythm of our own breath. These seemingly small moments are the building blocks of a life well lived, and they become accessible only when we slow down enough to be here now. Grounding ourselves in the present does not mean ignoring the past or dismissing the future, rather. It is about integrating them into a balanced perspective. The past provides wisdom and lessons that inform our choices, while the future inspires goals and dreams that give direction. However, it is the present moment that bridges the two, offering the opportunity to apply what we've learned and take steps toward what we envision. In this way, the present becomes a powerful tool for growth and creation. The present moment also invites us to embrace uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, and trying to control every outcome is an exhausting and ultimately futile endeavor. When we focus on the present, we begin to see that uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to engage with. It holds the potential for surprise, discovery, and new beginnings. By surrendering to the flow of the moment, we open ourselves to possibilities that rigid plans and expectations might otherwise block. Moreover, the present moment is where connection thrives. Whether in relationships with others, with nature, or with ourselves, true connection can only occur in the now. When we are fully present with someone, we listen more deeply, respond more authentically, and create space for genuine intimacy. When we are present with nature, we feel its beauty and rhythms more acutely, fostering a sense of harmony and belonging. And when we are present with ourselves, we cultivate self-awareness and self-compassion, laying the foundation for inner peace and clarity. The potential of the present moment is also evident in its ability to transform mundane tasks into meaningful experiences. Activities like washing dishes, walking, or even breathing can become acts of mindfulness when approached with presence. These moments, often dismissed as insignificant, are revealed to be opportunities for grounding, gratitude, and even joy. By shifting our attention fully to what we are doing, we break free from the autopilot mode that so often governs our lives and rediscover the richness embedded in the simplest of acts. Ultimately, embracing the present moment requires practice and intention. In a world that constantly pulls us toward distraction through technology, obligations, and endless streams of information, staying present can feel challenging. Yet it is precisely in cultivating presence that we reclaim our sense of agency and aliveness. Techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, and deep breathing can help anchor us in the now, but the real key is a mindset of curiosity and openness. When we approach each moment as if it were new, as if it were the first and last moment we will ever experience, we unlock its full potential. The present moment is a gift, not because it guarantees ease or comfort, but because it offers reality. It is the only place where we can truly act, feel, and be. By recognizing and embracing its potential, we step into a life that is not dictated by the regrets of the past or the anxieties of the future, but shaped by the vibrant, dynamic flow of now. This is where life happens, and this is where we find the freedom to live fully, deeply, and meaningfully.